the collective, current events and energies. Greetings, dear ones. We are very pleased, as always, to have this time to speak with you today. And so we are looking at what you might call a general consensus energy. Each country right now, each nation on Earth, including the indigenous nations, is carrying its own group energy, a collective of their vibrations. And so, for instance, in Great Britain, they're very unhappy about what has been presented to them in the news and by researchers about a certain royal. And in the U.S., there are many people upset about the SNAP or food stamp benefits reported as ending as of November 1st, and Congress seemingly taking quite a long vacation, and different things happening, people losing jobs, and healthcare becoming suddenly more expensive in January unless someone in government acts quickly, and so on. And there's also a general feeling of chaos at the Gaza Strip. Of course, with people are still struggling with the fact that people are still being indiscriminately ended there. And many parts of the world, the Ukraine, etc., and other parts of the world are feeling the weight of military presence and very dark deeds happening. And we could name many, many countries going through a lot right now that is very hard for them, very painful. But we don't want you so much in this moment to concentrate and focus on the negative. We want you very much to realize that your soul is still all-powerful and very beautiful, very creative, very much able to create the situations that you desire for yourself and for the world. But of course, you cannot get there if you're feeling very low, if you're feeling angry, if you're in fear, frustration, aggravation, and just wanting to sort of march into one person's home or office or another, or one body of government or another, and declare, "All right, all of you crooks, we're all going to put you behind bars now, and we will see you on some day of judgment." And it may help, in fact, to bring in that blue ray of divine justice and to leave things to the universe and to everybody's higher self, everyone's soul and everyone's divine self, rather than taking on the heaviness of these days, which is considerable. What you're experiencing on the planet is the disruption and upheaval of a ton of higher light flowing into the planet now. And it's not because that came in to upset everybody. The disruption doesn't come so much from the higher light as the old power structure's response and reaction to it. And so they've got to create turmoil to try to keep everyone's spirits low. In other words, to keep your frequency, your whole vibration very low. And then they can work more easily in that kind of an environment to try to continue as they have for thousands of years, ruling the planet, treating the planet as a slave colony, and nothing more, in terms of individual freedom and prosperity and the feeling of always being provided for. They don't want anyone to have that, except for themselves. And they've fixed it so that those situations don't even really work out for them an awful lot of the time. Now, you are being lied to on many levels. You're aware of that, being told that this person or that person ended things in terms of their earth life in a jail cell, and so they are no more. When in fact, they are still around, just secretly hidden. and also being told, oh, this person likewise ended it. And in fact, no, that was not their choice. That was put upon them. And you can probably work out who we're talking about. Other people appear to be okay, and you're basic sort of human. Even if they're drunk with power, not very bright, suffering from dementia, what have you, as in the case of certain leaders in the Western world. And in fact, no, they left quite some time ago. They were put away quite some time ago, and what you see is either a clone, which is used as a puppet, or a solid hologram. Now, that kind of desperation the old crowd would have to employ puppets, as they have for centuries, but particularly now, when the crystalline energy grid is awakened, and there are even new crystals forming in the etheric and physically on the earth, and there's whole new levels of awakening on the earth for the earth population, and even the environment, the natural environment of plants and trees, mountains, rivers, animals, these too are moving up in vibration. The kind of destruction you're seeing now is the result of pure desperation on the part of those who used to be in charge, quote unquote. They knew that their time was limited, but they decided to act as if it could go on forever. So we would say two things. Realize they're only behaving this badly because they know they're on their way out. And they would love to go out with a bang, as it were, and they will be facing divine justice. And many are simply saying, divine justice here, now, wherever they are in the world. Or they extend that to the whole planet, bathing the planet in that beautiful blue ray of divine justice, as well as the transmuting violet fire of Lord Saint Germain. And others are concentrating and saying, divine peace is here now. We give thanks. And that is the only reality I will permit in my consciousness and in my emotions, because I'm not going to play their very low vibrational game, chock full of traps to hold me and other light bringers in a very low vibration of hopelessness or anger or what have you. You'll see many now determining this, coming out of reaction, coming out of feelings of having been betrayed or abandoned by the universe. If you need to get angry every now and then, that's all right. Talk to your spirit team. Let that anger out in ways that harm no one. But then return to this peaceful place of realizing, look, we can all move above this. And this beautiful show of strength and solidarity, which one saw with the No Kings protest not long ago, where there were 7 million people at least who gathered on the city streets to demonstrate we will not be put under the thumb of a supposed self-proclaimed sovereign king-like person. And supposedly this was political or social, this expression, and in fact it went much, much deeper. It went to the point of these dear ones claiming their sole power and realizing we determine our own reality on this planet. That's what it was, and that's why it upset certain people on the extreme right, one might say, when really it's not down to left or right, it's down to this realization that each person is, in the final sense and in the biggest, most important sense, already a free and sovereign individual. There can be no one who stands above you. That is a temporary situation. Or somebody putting on the costume and the makeup and the fake hat or what have you and standing and pretending to be over you because they're your boss at work or they're your U.S. senator or they're your king or queen or what have you. All of this is role-playing, dear ones. You know